Hi everyone. This is Lifestyle Mapping Podcast. Alex, how you think, how are you saying things?
I know how to talk. My mind like this.
I don't want to speak.
The beats. Nothing. The mind the beats, but we're right.
So all the nervousness has calmed down. Like this is the second episode now.
Second. Our first one was blood, yeah. It was nothing spoiled.
Are you shaking?
I did like this. I'm still shaking, but let's see how it goes. We'll
Okay.
be fine. We'll be fine.
I think as the more we do, the more we ease into it, basically.
Yeah,
So
I hope so.
you hope so. You are.
I'm a camera
Are you
shy.
praying?
I'm a camera shy
Are you
person.
praying? So when you go home, between now and the next episode shoot, just go kneel down, pray to God and say, God, remove this autonomy of shyness from my body.
No, you cannot come because
Holy
somebody
Ghost fire.
will just come and drag me and say, look at that boy, see how he's doing that. No. Please, no.
All
But
right.
we'll be fine.
We actually have someone here. I think this person likes to talk, so he's going to help us.
Okay.
He's going to help us have this conversation very,
Talkative.
very well. I'm not even going to say the topic. We're just going to ease right into it because, of course, it's discussions. I'm not going to make it look like an interview. Not many times we did cuts for the last one. I don't want to make it look like an interview, but yeah, we have someone in the studio. This is someone I actually respect a lot. He has done a lot for young people. Basically, he loves helping young people. And that's what we too we love to do. Alex.
That's true.
Alex, are you sure?
Yep.
Are you not a young person? Don't you need help?
I need help. Oh, Nigeria has finished my life. Like this, I need help. Help me, please. Come on.
Alright, so in the studio we have Ladi speaks. I will tell you guys about the trouble, but let's introduce him first. So
Mr. Ladi.
hi Ladi.
Hi guys, such a pleasure to be here today. You say I help a lot of young people, but I'm also a young person myself.
Abeg.
Papa,
like,
I said you are pushing 50. You know I said this every time I see you.
damn it, I ain't pushing
Like
50,
you're
man.
pushing
I ain't
50.
pushing
Everybody
50.
that knows you, they're always like, Ladi has been in the game for a very long time. I'm like, this guy has to be pushing 50.
That's the funny thing, yeah, because before we started recording, I was telling Alex like, because I started out my career for a long period. I've been in the 9-to-5 space of my career for a long period. So people just assume, because perhaps you've been here for so long, you should be around this age. The truth is that I was one of these children that's labeled like a child prodigy. So I got into things like super early because I had privileges that sometimes I don't like to admit, but they are just there. You can't discount it. So, but pretty much, it's amazing to be here.
We'll come back to privileges later. Like, I'm going to talk about privileges because some of us were born with, that spoon that if you just use it to do like that, stainless spoon is still strong. That one that you just use it to, if you put inside rice, ordinary rice, it don't break.
There's no spoon like that.
That's the spoon that we were brought up with. But we'll talk about privileges. But there is something that happened on Twitter some days back. Do you know what this guy did? He went to go and say the almighty Nigeria did not play ball well.
Don't blame me.
South Africa played
wait,
well.
Ayo, don't misconstrue it, yeah.
I'll go and look at
And
that.
they deserve to win.
This is why
That
we
tweet
write-
is going to be somewhere here.
This is
I'll go
why
and
we
I'm going to
find
show
that
that tweet.
this is why we write IELTS in Nigeria. You know why? Because like the way we look at English, we look at it in a different kind of way. So what I said is that South Africa deserves to win. Now, while the game was going on, I made this while the game was going on, and it was like a bit after immediately we entered into the second half of the game. So I'm like, South Africa deserves to win. They've actually played better. And the honest truth is South Africa played better up until like 60 minutes or thereabouts before they lost the plot. And that was all my tweet was about. They deserved to win because they played better. Now, at that point, they played better. That's, if we're being very honest, the statistics showed it, everything showed it. They passed the eye test, which is something we use in football banter. And the truth is, they did. So, but however, it just became like, on WhatsApp, people are dragging me on WhatsApp, people are dragging me on Twitter, people are dragging me on Instagram. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? Like,
there are some things that you just leave
my
in your
tweet
mind.
going popular. I don't like my tweets going viral because like it's very stressful for me. Like
And
people
they
be calling
drag
you,
they
oh, they are
drag
dragging you on
market
Instagram.
days.
Oh, they are talking about you on Instagram. Don't call me for that kind of thing. Like call me like they are sharing money
So
and they want me to come and be a part of it.
See another thing to write.
that they should drag you for.
To be very honest,
You know that this beef was very personal.
What are you
Very
being
honest,
honest
yeah.
about?
Let me say something here. Me, I'm kind of a person. I speak the truth and I stand by it. I've always been that guy who is different. Do I feel different from a lot of people? Yes, that's very honest. Now, it may look different, it may look somewhat, but the truth is, a lot of times I feel different. So I speak my opinions. I don't follow popular beliefs. I don't follow popular culture. I have different beliefs that I believe in. That if I think that everybody's going right, if I think left is the right place to go for me, I talk about it and I go it.
This one is just aspire to a refire.
So the reality is that I speak the truth and I stand by it. So even if everyone thinks that, and that's the thing. And for me, my message to people a lot of times is, if everyone thinks you're wrong, it doesn't necessarily mean you're wrong. That's the truth. So the reality is, a lot of people reached out to me. A lot of people that actually were dragging me on Twitter, they reached out to me and say, I know you are saying the truth, but this is not the right time to say it. Like, why should I wait for a time? Like, why should anybody be controlling the time I should say my truth?
So, like,
Speak your truth.
In your mind, when you know that the beef has been ever since the Grammys, when they took our
your mind,
it's not
that is the
personal for me,
best
to be
time.
honest.
it's
Yeah,
very
it's
personal. It's very personal.
I mean, there are people who big shout out to those guys who have not passed on because of that match. Yeah. So they took it personal. I didn't take it personal, and big respect to them. We wish.
Anyway, we are happy that Nigeria won this match because I would have taken it. I was in front of my TV, screaming at every penalty kick. I was kneeling down. I was begging.
The truth is, actually, you see that match, I did not actually watch it, and that was because I know if I watched it, I'll have BP. So I just went off. I was using, I'll just say the name, live score. I'll just go check, 1-0. Nothing, you're all right. That was how I followed the match.
Before I started watching
you see that, because when we were 1-0 and we actually scored the second goal, but it was offside and
it was good out.
Immediately I saw that match, I said, watch this match. I would just die before tomorrow morning. You get so, but nothing will happen. We played well. We played better.
Mr. Alaji. Whatever happens, Nigeria is the giant of Africa.
We used to be, but not anymore.
Guy, what are you saying? I will stone you, pillow.
To be honest, not anymore. We had countries. We used to be the top giant of Africa. It was a massive PR that was for us. For a period. But a lot of smaller countries have now gotten to us,
like
and even past us. For
Egypt.
example, Côte d'Ivoire, that the tournament is being played in. Nigerian journalist, there was a Nigerian journalist that posted on Twitter that I've gone 5 kilometers and the roads are so smooth. Like, this is not something I can experience in my country.
How big is Côte d'Ivoire?
You would hardly find a 5 kilometer road in Nigeria that the road is smooth.
No, we're talking about
their population size.
It doesn't matter now. If Nigeria has over 200 million people, let's build infrastructure for these people. It's simple. So if Côte d'Ivoire has 10 million people, they built infrastructure for the 10 million people. So you build infrastructure based on your population.
They can still manage some things. You understand? 200 million people.
So the thing is, I understand.
In Africa, even have power supply 24 hours. We don't.
We already agree. We have agreed. We have agreed that we don't have lights.
That's your house. It's personal.
Provided my gen is giving me.
And that's
it's my gen. It's
let's
my
look at communal benefits and communal prosperity. Like generally, as a country, we aren't where we used to be, or we are not where we are supposed to be. As a giant of Africa, unemployment rate in Nigeria is.
I remember when I was actually having
everywhere.
A discussion with a cousin of mine, and we were talking about how our parents just had one job. And they were traveling out of the country. They were building houses. Everything was basically on point. We just one job. And they were sending us to school. And they didn't have as much debt as we have currently. But now we were looking for a side gig. You're looking for this one. You want to chop from here. You want to from here.
Right now, the average Nigerian young person between the age of 21 to 35, the average Nigerian young person has a full-time job.
Yeah.
Has one or two side hustles they're pushing. If they're not selling bags on Twitter or Instagram or WhatsApp, they're selling shoes. Or after they finish their 9 to 5 weekend, they are going to be a makeup artist.
Like Aisha that do my makeup right now. Like Aisha.
If even though they have 9 to 5, they've turned like maybe sports betting into their hustle.
Yeah,
like
that's right.
People are hustling.
And betting is killing.
Like, I mean, it's debatable.
It's debatable too.
It's debatable, but like, people are hustling back to back, front to back. Guess what? The scary thing about this is the fact that as much as people are hustling in this country right now, is not commensurate with the reward they are getting. I mean, like, you see someone has a 9 to 5, still have like 2 hustles they are pushing. But the money they are getting, inflation has eaten deep into it.
So
it's
now,
like it's
now if it's that of the so-called economics of a country, you will not really blame them, because now that individual is doing his or her best. He's trying. But now, let's assume you have a 9 to 5 that pays you like 100K, which you know 100K is actually nothing. You get. But
I think speaking for Lagos, but if you are, Shogbo,
yes, for Lagos, let's say,
like in Maiduguri,
100K.
Yes, like 100K. Okay, it's actually nothing.
It's relative.
And you have like a side gig, or maybe you are an Uber driver. You will not blame the person, because now let's check the cost of fuel, petrol. Yes, it's both a national problem, at the same time it's both an international problem, because you will not see Nigeria, we are getting oil, we sell our oil at a lesser amount. Other countries will just come and buy our oil and go and sell it to their people. So it's general, you get. Talk about manufacturing, the cost of productions is going high in terms of raw materials, everything. Who do you want to blame? You blame the government. But at the same time, you all have a share of this too. So if it's that particular part of inflation, I'm not going to just attribute it to maybe a country, because it's everywhere.
I think inflation is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's an international problem.
Yes.
However, countries are intentionally working to solve this problem. What's our country intentionally doing to solve it?
They're working.
Nothing. Right now, the government is like 9 months in, no fiscal policy yet.
No, they have. I'm sure they have things. They're still working.
Like that's the problem.
They're still working.
No, the thing is, like,
if you're there, you might do worse.
And in Yoruba land, there's an adage that says something like, "Oh, it's not a formal adage, but it's like a colloquial adage. Like, oh, the Sunday that will be good, you will know from Friday. Or the Sunday that will be good, you will know from Saturday. Like, if your Sunday will be soft, you will know by Friday that this Sunday will be soft, so I'll be chilling in one.
Like, for example,
in one place.
If weekend go sweet now, from Wednesday you go.
Exactly. You know, I don't have money, since I'll be broke this weekend. I will just have to stay indoors. I will not be. We're outside this weekend.
Yeah.
You will know from Friday that I'm going to be outside. So, but the thing is, like, I mean, there's a lot of efforts. The efforts are not matching, they are not tallying with the results people are getting. And for me personally, it's just sad, because, like you said, our parents didn't have to work this hard. People think Gen Zs, millennials were lazy, but the truth is, we are super hard workers. Super hard workers.
These are very, very lazy.
Nah, it's actually a misconception. I've met Gen Zs. I've had super amazing Gen Zs on my team.
I not see anything. No.
Super amazing Gen Zs on my team. I've had even if you see millennials, I mean, go to civil service in Nigeria, go to civil service in this country.
Yeah.
How many Gen Zs will you find there? Well, aren't those guys super lazy? By 1 o'clock, you are going to a normal civil servant's office, and they are telling you they've closed. Come back tomorrow. You've not experienced something like that before.
Now,
by 2 o'clock, they are already telling you they've closed. They are taking back their bag and
I
they're going
agree,
home. Are they Gen Zs? No.
But that's
they are actually baby boomers. They are baby boomers. They are Gen X. But they are lazy.
So that one is the government issue because they failed to put in
the point that I'm
rules,
trying to
regulations
make.
to.
The point I'm trying to make
It's
is
part
that
of the
laziness is
government.
not tied to Gen Z.
But
It's
you know,
across generations.
But you know this conception about lazy, Gen Zs being lazy. It's across board. Like it's not just Nigeria alone. It's global.
That's what I'm telling you, that the baby boomers, the Gen X guys who are pushing this agenda, because it's an agenda like, oh, one generation is lazy. It's an agenda. At some point, they told us that millennials were lazy. They told us that when we were just
That's
coming up as
true.
millennials, they said millennials are lazy, your generation people are lazy. There's just this intergenerational battle that's always happening where older generation believe the younger generation don't deserve what they're getting, they don't merit it, they are lazy, they can't fight for it. But the truth is that right now, it is more difficult. Like, getting a job right now is more difficult than it was 50 years ago. Getting into paid employment right now is more difficult because right now the competition is strife.
Okay.
The competition is at the peak. Globally, unemployment rate is like maybe say a fair percentage, say 5%. When you go to countries like maybe the US, you see global unemployment rate like 3%. You come to Nigeria, you see unemployment rate like 33%. Like, it's
The giants.
giant unemployment rate.
For the giants.
The pressure
Yeah.
to get into paid employment has never been this high. Because right now, people are even advising now, you go to social media, people are advising that don't move out of your parents' home. Stay in your parents' home. If they are still giving you money, they are still paying the bills.
I swear, I
Stay
wish
there.
I was still
Don't
in my parents'
go.
house.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't even go outside.
Exactly.
I will just sit
Just
inside
stay and
here.
be chilling.
If you park, come over your
but
papa's,
before now, people were saying, "Oh, move out, become independent." It was something that people were preaching because the economy was
Favorable.
hugely favorable, hugely favorable compared to now. Like right now, it's in shambles.
Yeah, I actually push that advice to young people. Please don't move out of your parents' house. There's
Please move,
There's first of all, there's nothing outside.
It's a lie.
The
Grass is cold outside. Go outside. What?
The dating pool is very, very terrible.
That
See,
one.
Alex now is single. So
For real. Okay.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
There's nothing outside. I will not lie to you. I have 3 single sisters in the house. Every day they're saying, "Oh my God, this guy." There's nothing outside. I'm very, very sorry. Just sit down in your
There's
parents'
something
house.
outside. It depends what you're looking for. There's
He
something
said it depends what you're looking for. What are you
There was a
looking
conversation
for?
recently that you can't find love in Lagos.
You know, I agree. I agree. If you want to find love, travel
To like
out of.
Abakaliki.
Yes.
But to an extent, though, there's an atom of truth.
So you also agree.
No, I do not agree. I just there's an atom of
There's an atom of truth.
I do not agree. Last, not true. You just say hi. Send me a time. Hello. Let's go for dinner. Oh my God.
So these days, what you just see is that people just want to. I think my opinion on dating these days is that there's the idea that we have choices.
Yeah.
So we have a range of choices. Like if the average guy right now is talking to like multiple babes. So like
really?
if one babe is acting up, instead of him to actually fix that relationship, he's thinking, let me just leave this babe and go to babe 2. That kind of stuff.
No.
The average babe has like 10 guys that she's billing at the same time. Like, okay, maybe not 10 guys, like before someone will come and drag me.
It's more than 10. What are you saying? It's
Like
more
she
than
has
10.
Bila 1, Bila 2, Bila 3, Bila 4. Multiple guys at the same
Is
time.
that what she used to say?
It's more than 10.
Like fuel.
It's more than
one.
10.
Say, oh, house rent 2. Like that kind of stuff. So
You have the one-
like
I don't know.
the reality is that people think that they have a lot of choices, and before you know, you get into. And I was just talking to my friend before this conversation we're having that there's an age you get to, you begin to realize that you don't have a lot of choice to actually choose from in a relationship. In getting a partner, like
Is it for the men or for the
for
women?
both, to be honest, for both.
For both.
There's
But it's earlier. Is it earlier for women or later for men?
There's
I
no
want to
timing to
understand.
it. For example, as a man,
Okay.
you get into a social status where you're earning well, you're doing well, like so because you're earning well,
Yeah.
you can make any choice you want.
Okay.
At that stage, it's easy for you to get a babe. And babes, you become more attractive to women. That's the honest truth. So because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are socially doing well. You
Okay.
become more attractive to women. So you have a lot of babes at your beck and call. At that stage, it becomes hard for you to say, who do I want to actually do life with? It becomes hard for you because the truth is, you realize if babe A does something small that you can actually tolerate, you'll be like, why do I want to tolerate this? You go to babe B. And then at what point do you keep switching babes?
So I think generally people are not willing to compromise anymore.
This conversation is
Because of that same issue.
Because of that same issue, we think that we have a lot of choices. And honestly, as I said earlier, there's nothing outside.
there's something outside.
Okay, there's something outside for you. I like the fact that you're keeping up the
Come
faith.
and look. Come and
Anyway.
look.
Are you using this now to like matchmake yourself or what?
Me? No. Sorry, there's nothing outside. But no, I still believe that there is something out there.
I like the fact that he still believes in
But
love.
because the
Optimism
truth
is good.
Yeah, it
the,
is.
the truth is, yes, all this relationship talk, I no like to dey talk. Because if I talk, you will say, you know the relationship. Yes, I agree.
How you gonna give advice
but
when
the
you know the
truth is,
relationship?
like, there's 7 billion people out there, for heaven's sakes. Just one person.
How many do you have
50
access to?
person.
How many do you have access to?
At least, if you get access to like the 1%.
You will never meet 100,000 babes till you die.
Facebook alone have
Even on Facebook, you can't meet 100,000
the
babes.
cocoa is
So
just
you
come
can't
outside
even
here.
you can't meet 1,000 babes.
See,
Can
come
you meet
out
1,000
here.
men throughout your lifetime?
I don't think
Live-
so.
Can you meet 100 women throughout your lifetime? 100 women.
100.
Yes. Can
Yes,
anybody meet
possible.
100 women throughout their lifetime?
Yeah, it's
Like
possible.
face to
you are
face, and you have go
that's
on
your
dates
9 to
with
5.
them.
You are doing gigolo as a business or
Yes, it's
something.
possible. I mean, it's possible.
Sugar daddy.
Guys, you say don't you get that? You're looking for who?
Your blesser. You are the one that is blessing the blessed.
No, I think yes, it's possible.
You can meet 100 women throughout your lifetime. What are you looking for?
Going on dates.
Going on dates.
Going on date. No, nah.
Exactly the
everyone
point
is-
now. So the mean is the idea that we think we have choices. We don't exactly have a lot of choices. We think there are 7 billion people. Where will you see 7 billion
Where will
people?
you see them?
We have 20 million people. We have 20 million people in Lagos. Can you see 1 million people, babes throughout your lifetime?
Choice. Please.
Can you meet 1 million
If you are a
babes?
lady, keep looking.
Looking for
If you are
you.
a guy, keep looking too. When white hair start coming out.
You know what's up.
Anyway, I think basically, I think as I said earlier, I talked about Ladi helping a lot of young people, if you
Yeah.
remember. So it can actually help you get a baby. You don't know.
Nah,
There is-
that's not within
there's-
my. That's not
there's
within my.
nothing that
it's
God
not-
cannot
it's
do.
not with NSPPD vibes, yeah.
NSPPD.
It's not within my. It's not within my purview, man. It's not within my purview. That's not something I try to do. I don't matchmake. I don't think I've matchmaked anyone.
You sure?
No.
I'm sure if I check within your circle,
So
I will still
that's-
see like 1 or 2 people that I say, man, it's from this guy. Like,
The funny thing is that
this chick.
the truth is every person has like a lot of single people that they know that they can vouch for. Oh, this person I like her. She's a good person, but she's single.
There's something that someone very close to me used to say. Say someone can be a good friend but might not be a good partner. So there's always a problem with always matchmaking some people together. So if I'm saying I want to matchmake
All of us are just selfish.
you
know,
with
angry.
somebody that I know that is very good, but the person can be a very good friend to me, or you, for example, can be a very good
Like
friend
you
to me.
matchmaking Adeomi and Alex, now that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Alex and Angel.
Angel.
This one.
Are you TikTok AI?
and I can say, I know Alex now. I work with Alex. He's the best guy. So now,
cannot for anybody.
then now the babe will not come and meet and say, that guy is wicked.
He showed me pepper.
He showed me pepper.
It's like,
And
there's
I might be
nobody
like,
that can come out and say I should.
Wait, I'm just saying it's an example now. It's an example. I'm saying people can be good
Oh, they used to
friends.
show you pepper instead.
I'm not chop tata shit tire. Cameroon pepper. I'm not chop.
Anyway, let's
Shame.
let's not stroll too much from our conversation. Ladi helps young people a lot. He's not gonna help you. That's already certain. But I think you were talking about like people between the age of 18 to like 31, 32, 35, and how they find it difficult to like access jobs, especially 9 to 5, and even when they access that 9 to 5, they still have like side gigs. I know people that still intern with their 9 to 5 like for other jobs just because they're willing to switch careers and all of that. Now, what of people that are still in the university that are wanting to come outside? Like,
Don't graduate.
Because now things are tough.
If I say there's nothing out there, well, let's carry over this. Don't graduate.
I'm not saying that you just have carryovers inside school. But no, things are actually tough. You are done with school. What is next? Like, what is the next thing that somebody that is done with school should actually be doing?
Street.
Because
I think that
they cannot be walking on the streets with their CV up and down.
Street now.
That's
Like
outdated.
old Nollywood
Yeah, that's
style.
outdated. The thing is, yeah, there's before I said that, there's one TV show I watched. I can't remember. I think it's Friends, where one of the ladies in
Friends,
the TV
yeah.
show was always in college.
Phoebe.
Oh, it was Phoebe. She was always in college. Like, and when
She was always going to school.
when the later find out, why are you always going to, like, oh, like, I don't want to pay off my college debt. So just like
I understand where she's coming from, really. I do.
Just
Don't
like she's
graduate
saying-
to
just like you say, yeah, like, you need to start preparing for after school while in school. I mean, like, when you leave school, it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
As a student, majority of students would have support. By support,
Like you, that you had like privileges.
yeah, that kind of stuff. But the truth is, my privileges weren't exactly in that light. But like, majority of students would have support. Now, there's a huge chunk that is in minority that would not have support, that will self-fund themselves through school. Now,
Okay.
while in school, they perhaps have family members, they perhaps have parents, they perhaps have friends who can give them something because they are students. Like, oh, is a student, give him 2K. Is a student, give him 10K. But the reality is that when you leave school, it's like everybody abandons you. So you need to start preparing for that phase when you leave school. And you now think about our country, where majority of us work in careers that we didn't study in school. That's like is a tradition. I mean, there's this joke where they say, oh, the first sign of knowing a useless course is when they say you can work anywhere. Like, I mean, I studied zoology. I studied zoology in school.
You can walk anywhere now.
Are you not actually working anywhere?
And during our year one orientation, I think Professor Otubanjo was the woman, I can't forget her. And she came to the orientation, she came to speak about how people that graduated from zoology, they're working in the bank, they're working in oil company, they're working in this, they're working in that.
That's
So
the first red flag.
that's exactly, like, you can work anywhere. So, but the point she was making, you can work anywhere. So the reality is that right now, you need to understand that as a student, you are no longer going to be a student when you leave school. As a student, people can have pity on you. Maybe you enter bus, public transportation in your city, and people can say, oh, because this person is a student, don't let him pay. I'll pay for him, or I'll pay on his or her behalf. Because, yeah, people do that.
There was a time,
people do that.
Even
till now.
NYSC too.
Yes.
then,
NYSC.
Yeah, people pay for you because you're a student.
Not a
But
student,
yes,
though.
the thing is that if you wear school uniform, all those kind of stuff, they'll pay for you because you're a student. If you say, oh, I'm a student, I'm going to this school, they can pay for you. But when you're no longer a student, when you're job hunting, you need to start preparing for that phase mentally first. And away from mental preparation, the physical preparation needs to happen. Now, a lot of people do not know that outside your school, your uni, your polytechnic, your colleges of education, the thing that stands you out are actually the skills that you have acquired through your time in school. Now, there are soft skills, there are hard skills. Now, soft skills are like skills that speaks to your attitude, that speaks to how you do things, like your communication skills. If something is going on, do you know how to communicate? Do you know how to say it? Do you know how to handle things? Can you lead initiatives? Can you think by yourself? Can you self-manage yourself? Can you self-regulate yourself? Can you say, oh, okay, this is not the time to play, I need to work. This is not the time to lazy about, I need to do something. Now, can you actually speak for yourself? Are you eloquent? Do you take responsibility? Do you take ownership? Those are soft skills that people pick up in school. And, I was talking to Alex before we started this recording. I said, like, the difference between people who leave school and are high flyers and people who leave school and are struggling sits on the soft skills.
Yeah.
And that's something that intentionally they don't teach it in school. I say this all the time to people that if somebody gets a first class, now, there are a lot of people, first class graduates, who are lazy, who lack information,
Okay.
and as such, they perhaps will become lecturers because of those two things.
So are you trying to say that a lecturer does not research for information?
Not exactly, not technically, because they just feel like, oh, this is the only thing I can get, this is the only job I can get, and go into lecturing. However, there are first-class students who have access to information, are not lazy. You see them high-flying in any career they choose. Do you know why? Because to get a first class in any university in Nigeria, you need to have some form of dedication. You need to know how to apply yourself to a course, to be committed to doing something.
Yeah, you need to have some form of discipline.
Discipline.
That discipline is very, very important.
Now,
and that's what a lot of us did not have in school.
Exactly. Now, that's the thing. These are skills that first-class students... Now, a first-class student knows how to consume information, process that information, and return that information in a way that is presentable to a lecturer.
Yeah.
Now, these are skills that they will not teach you. These are skills you learn because you have done well in school. These are skills you learn as a student. Now, a lot of people do not pick up these skills. And so when they leave school, they struggle. I mean, I speak to students and I say things like, there's a difference between I like 3 types of a woman, or briefly describe 3 types of a woman. There's a difference. What the examiner is expecting is different. Some students know it, some students do not know it. Now, some of these skills that people pick up while they're in school. Now, while I was a student in Unilag, there was this association or this society I belonged to called Students in Free Enterprise. It's now called Enactus. Now, because I was in Students in Free Enterprise, SAIF then, we were doing business competitions, going for business corp, even nationally, internationally, thinking about solutions, community solutions, global solutions, national solutions. It helped shape my worldview as a student, as a young person. So the reality is that a lot of students just go to school, don't participate in anything. There are a lot of student organizations, student bodies that people can participate in, groom themselves as professionals, groom themselves as an individual, shape their worldview. A lot of students don't even read anything outside their books that they are reading for school. Like, expose yourself to information. Know what is happening in Dubai. Know what is happening in Japan. Know what is happening in Korea. Know what is happening in Russia. Like, become enlightened.
I think so that when you stand with your peers,
you can actually have conversations.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you would engage someone who is a graduate and they can't have a conversation with you for 5 minutes. Now, this kind of person, you take them into an interview room and they struggle. Because they've not learned how to have conversations with people. They're like, oh, I'm a social recluse. I don't talk to people. I'm an introvert.
But the funny thing is that they're not even introverts, in my opinion. They're not introverts. Let me explain why I'm saying they're not introverts. Because if you see them talking and gisting about football, or you see them gisting about man matter, or you see them gisting about, they will go well. But when it comes to things that will actually make them stand out in the workplace,
social issues, global issues,
global issues, economic issues.
Now, the issue I have with that is, I'm not trying to crucify anybody, but don't you think for them to be that way, past experiences must have shaped them?
And that's why you learn, you unlearn, and you will learn.
That's what I'm saying. Now,
I mean, as a student,
you have to
develop yourself beyond your community.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. But individual differences can play here.
Absolutely.
There are some people, at home they are wayward. The moment they get to school,
they're
forget
conservative.
it. Like, they learn, you get. And why there are some people at home, they are very wonderful children. They might be like, oh, this, like the way we use pastors' children, for example, say, in church, like these people are. When you go to their school, you now ask, how far high is this? See this one? This, because the devil. You get out, you understand what I mean? It can be a bit dicey. I feel it's not everybody that is well groomed or has been well groomed to kind of.
Provided in Unilag, you have to be like 16 to get an admission into Unilag. So what it means for me, what that thing means for me is that there's a level of mental maturity they expect from you as an adult. I mean, you leave your house in maybe Yanopaja, you leave your house in Akure, and you go all the way to a university, or you go all the way to a polytechnic or a college of education, your parents will let you go by yourself. What that means is that they are now expecting you to take responsibility for yourself.
I agree. I'm not...
So there's no excuse that you cannot.
What about
your personal difference, your background can
at times? As I said, at times it plays a
really 100% it plays a role. You have to now
it's really
develop yourself.
There's some people, just I have one of my friends who say, in this world, nothing is wrong, nothing is right. In the sense that, but what she's referring to is, you as an individual, you can choose what is wrong or what is right. If you think, if I kill this person is right, according to the law, it's wrong. It is murder. But to you, it is your belief. It's right. You stick to it. You get what I mean? Some of those people, they must have been groomed in such a way that some of the things they know to them, like, it's a business. It is right.
So, Alex,
this is how things. You understand what I mean?
This leads me to my second point of open-mindedness. As a student, you have to learn to be open-minded.
Yeah, students, for crying out loud, you should learn.
Yes, you have to be open-minded to learning.
I understand what this is.
Open-minded to beliefs. Open-minded to the opportunities that exist now. Because we are in sub-Saharan Africa, you find students aren't exposed to the global opportunities that are available to them. So as a student, don't say, oh, maybe because I'm a third class student, I'm a 2-2 student, I'm a second class lower student, I'm a second class upper student, I'm a first class student. Don't rest on that. Challenge yourself beyond your academics. Join societies that help develop you. I'm not saying join secret societies. I'm saying join clubs, student clubs that enrich you. Join student clubs that help your mindset shift. You need that mindset shift as a student. So you join those communities, join those societies, you participate in them, you build networks, you build relationships, you become open-minded. And when you now start preparing to choose a career outside your academic learning, to say, oh, I've studied maybe zoology in school. When I leave school, what do I want to do? What are my passionate areas of life? What am I passionate about? I mean, I was in school and I was passionate about writing. I was super passionate about writing. When I was in SIFE, I was in the PR committee for our year's event, where Youth Empowerment Summit. We did annual event. I was in the PR committee. Now, I didn't even know what PR is at that point in time. I didn't have an idea. It was just something that they were saying, join a committee. I said, I'm going to join the PR committee. It's something that I have natural flair for. I could write. So I was creative. I'm still creative anyways, but it was something that I had natural flair for. So in fact, it was yesterday that I was telling somebody the story about how I got into marketing. And I was saying that I was doing this thing. I was writing a lot of political thought pieces in school. So if anybody wanted to write something about someone in school and you want to make sure that thing bangs, yeah, I'm the guy you call. Now, when I write, people know something has gone viral. I'm the one that wrote it in school. So they knew that this guy can write. So it was just something I was doing for fun. I wasn't looking to earn money from it. I was just something doing for passion. Now, when I left school, I participated in a couple of activities. I participated in a couple of activities, and which was also, it was marketing related, but I didn't know it was marketing related. It was also a volunteer activity. Now, by the time I left service and I saw my friend who was now doing marketing full time, and I told him, what are you doing now? I wanted to become an EIA specialist. I wanted to become an EIA consultant. Now, when I asked him what he was doing, and he told me this story, I'm like, this thing I used to do for chills while we're in school, is that what you're doing 9 to 5? Oh, people can actually build a career in this. And in less than 1 month after having that conversation with my friend, I got a job. So for me, the vibe is that, and that's where the conversation around building relationships come into play. For a student, preparing for outside school, build relationships. Let people know that you're a valuable person. Add value to yourself. Learn skills. Be open-minded. Don't say, oh, I just want to learn one skill. Learn multiple skills so that you can find what you are attracted to, so that you can find what you are drawn towards, so that you can find what you have natural flair for to do. So that build relationships
So the thing is, you are like 10 in 100 students. Like your own It's like
say 10 in 100. Sorry, 10 in one, 10 in one whole
Eh,
school.
what?
That's
So
what you're
because
saying like this.
me, I went to school too. I went to a very prestigious uni. I was confused as to what I wanted to do in my life.
The mission and ambition was to read.
Just
Don't
read
have
your book
carryover. If you have
and come out,
carryover,
and
you're
that was
finished.
it.
And that's
And in fact, my dad will be like, "I don't want to hear you have boyfriend, though. No boyfriend, not
try
try
it.
boyfriend, don't try it." So you must not, like, you were supposed to be on a straight path, and it was what your parents told you to go and do in school that you're going to do. Coming from someone that was literally shielded, even though I went to boarding house, like I was literally shielded from like a lot of things. So from school, you're going home, you're not going anywhere, you're just inside your house. So you can imagine how it will be for me having this freedom.
I believe.
Do you understand? Having this freedom, now nobody's gonna tell me, apart from maybe my mom calls me and like, "Where are you? What are you doing today? Have you read your book?" All of that. Apart from that, and after some time it stopped because, as you said, they expect you to have some certain level of maturity and responsibility. Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. People like us, we just went to school, read our book, we came out, and now we are sitting down at home thinking. And I did not read zoology, I read law. So it's normally you're not supposed to do everything in quotes. So now you are back at home, and I knew that I was not going to practice. So now I'm sitting down, I'm thinking about what am I going to do with myself? Yeah, so there are people like that. All they just did was go to school.
It's life.
And how was it?
You will not blame them.
No skill. No, but the thing is, I think the self-realization came to me very early after I'd finished school.
Yours was after I finished school.
Yes, it came very early. So it was like, okay, now you're done. What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
That self-realization needs to happen for a lot of students need to force themselves into that self-realization while as students.
Yes.
So that it prepares them
For
for now.
life.
If you are
I
now
started
done,
wishing I knew this discussion within me before.
Now, if you had now finished school and you're at that stage where I finished school, I finished NYSC, or maybe there's a national service in my country, I finished that, I don't know what to do, or there's no national service in your country, but you have just finished school. Like, what do I do? Now, at that stage, you need to come to that self-realization to say, do like a self-audit. I recommend this all the time. Like, as an adult, do a self-audit to say, what do I want to do? Now, the formula I use a lot of times is, in every organization, there is legal, there is accounts or finance, there is business development or sales, there is marketing, there is research and development, there is there's product, there's administration, there's HR, there's operations, there are other sub-functions. Now, if you look at all these functions, there's procurement and logistics. Now, if you look at all these functions as an adult, ask yourself the honest question. Go and research each of these functions. What do they do? Now, if I had studied zoology, I cannot be in the legal department except I'm a paralegal. If I had studied zoology. If I had studied zoology, I can be in the accounts department, but I have to do extra. Maybe I have to go take an accounting professional course like ACCA internationally. That makes me internationally accredited to practice accounting. So I'm finance, or go take CFA at some point. So the point is that you analyze what each of these functions do, and now decide that which function do I want to build a career in. Now that realization, that actualization, that audit, upon its happening, you now begin to take steps to say, oh, I want to build a career in HR, human resources, or people and culture. I want to build a career in procurement and logistics, or supply chain. I want to build a career in sales. I want to build a career in marketing. I want to build a career in product management. I want to build a career in
now, Ladi, you're talking about 9 to 5. What are people that want to start business? Because there's some young people, they're always like, I can never work for anybody. But me, I'm of this school of thought that before you start a business, it is advisable for you to work for somebody at least for 2 years.
I agree.
Because there are some people, it's just like interning. Like if you want to intern before you grow your career. But there are people like, I would do it by myself. Especially young people that are just leaving school. I don't want to work for anybody.
Should I be straight with you here? A lot of these people struggle so much because the so-called business that they are setting up, that they're building, There's no structure to
There's
it.
no foundation.
There's no direction to it.
Yeah.
And these are things that they would have picked up if they worked in a structured environment.
True.
So I'm also of that school of thought that to actually grow your business, you need external knowledge. I always say this, that what these longest standing businesses across the world, things you would find there: external knowledge. You find continual input of external knowledge.
Yeah.
You find continual input of external finance,
Yes.
cash injection. So you need that external knowledge to even from the beginning. Like that is what will tell you, oh, the business I worked in, this and this and these are the things we set up. Now, a lot of times I'm always wary of entrepreneurs who have never worked anywhere before.
Yeah.
They've never either worked for somebody or supported a vision. I mean, if I've never supported a vision, how do you know the direction to go?
Exactly.
From a training school, from a business school?
Yeah.
Like you need to have bought into a vision, supported it, see some of the things that do not work that you can apply to your venture or to your endeavor. So for me, I keenly believe that if you're a business owner, and business owners, I don't mean to say that there are business owners that I've never worked for anybody and they didn't go on to build successful businesses, but they're outliers. So we look at those people as reference points to say, oh, but this person has never worked for anybody, but went on to build the business in this country or in the state or in the county or in the local government or in the world. But these are outliers. You cannot use them to talk about the generic population.
Exactly.
So I do not take you as a serious business owner if you have never worked for somebody before and you're now building a business. What you're telling me is that what experience are you bringing to the business that you're working
Exactly.
in? So for me, even if you, for example, if joining SIFE or Enactors would help me to be a better business owner as a student, because they are teaching us how to write business plans. They're teaching us how to think long term. They're teaching us, we're learning so many things about business structure as a student. So if many of the guys that were in SIFE together, if they go on to build great businesses, I will not be surprised.
True.
So, I mean, like, the reality is that you need some form of structure to build a business. There's hustling, and that's one thing a lot of people get wrong. There's a difference between a hustle and a business.
Yeah.
A hustle, you do a hustle to earn a living for the now. You do a business to earn a living for the future.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are hustling. We are not doing businesses. We are hustling. And that's why you see somebody who is selling bags and shoes on WhatsApp and you see the way they manage their customers and you're like, are you a business owner?
The funny thing is that they don't even know their target audience sometimes.
Exactly.
When you ask them who are your
you
target
selling your
audience,
shoes
they
for?
say all women.
Because they are hustling. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. It's not a business. It's a hustle. And that's a part of the issues. It's a hustle. It's not a business. It's a hustle. They are just hustling. So because they're just hustling, it's not something that there's structure to it. It's not something that they are putting some form of direction to say, in 2024, for my business, I want to achieve this level or this volume or this quantity of growth.
Yeah.
So that kind of clarity only comes when you have worked in a business before, where at the beginning of the year, the business does a retreat to say that in 2024, by the end of 2024, these are our 2024 goals.
Yeah.
Many business owners do not have business goals. And you are saying you are running a business. That's a hustle.
They are just moving with the
They're just moving with the flow.
I get, but what about those people who, yes, no prior work experience, but able to build up something, but with the help of those
that have worked.
Like, you know, there's some people, once they already have their business going, they know that, okay, now maybe they admit to themselves that, okay, maybe they don't have what it takes to build it, or they feel they want the business to be this structured in terms of how, like, maybe other structured organizations are, and they go ahead getting on board people who have
worked on a business.
Yeah.
Do you know the risk to that is that I actually personally know a business like this, a businessman like this, and self-delusion. For starters, there are two categories of people in this category. There are people who have self-delusion that they will never come to the realization that I can't do this.
The Lulu is so Lulu.
Exactly. There's that self-delusion of I can never do this. I can do this, I can do this. Now, there's another category of people who have agreed that, yes, I can do this, I need competent hands. They have come to the conclusion that, however, I need competent hands. However, the risk is that if I have competent hands and they take advantage of your ignorance. Now, from the personal experience I'm describing, someone knows he has a fintech startup. He has never worked in fintech before, so he hired a GM. And this GM did unethical practices by taking the customer details of the company and going to start his own company.
What?
Okay.
That's a business risk.
Yeah.
So now this guy, the CEO, has come to the realization that I'm not competent to run a fintech startup, and has gone to hire a GM who is supposedly competent to run a fintech startup. However, the GM played a sharp one on him, or played a fast one on him. Now, that's a business risk that second category of people face. And that's why a lot of them will always remain in that first category of self-delusion. I can do it.
I can do it, yeah.
And they keep struggling.
And they're not even keeping up with trends. They're not reading. They're not doing all of that. I think Alex will agree with me on this. I think another thing that business owners should also do is look out for data. So apart from like learning, interning, working with people, what is the data currently saying about your business at that moment? Because I think this is a problem we have in Nigeria generally. A marketing person joins a company and the person will even be afraid to even ask the boss, please, what is the data? Because the boss expects you, as a marketing person that have not worked in that field before, to get they get the data that they need for their business to move forward. So now you now create a Google form. You now share a WhatsApp group. You don't even know if those people are even your target audience. You just share it in WhatsApp group and you're like, can you please help me fill this form? Just 3 to 5 minutes survey.
I had an article about this actually, and I think that is one of the reasons why the marketing profession is not we are not getting a reputation that we should get now. I mean, standard companies have R&D departments.
Yeah.
They commission research agencies to get the data for them. Now, because we have startups that don't have money, so instead of those startups to actually invest in research, a lot of startups are not investing in research. If you see the biggest startups today, and you know how much, and they tell you how much they are investing in research, you'll be shocked. So there is no big startup, there is no working startup that's not investing in research, investing in data, understanding what the data is saying for their category, for their industry, for their country they are operating in.
I agree.
There is no working startup that's not working with that data. There is no working startup that is not working with that data because, and that's why a hustle is different from a business.
Yes.
A business has data that is taken down. It also doesn't. I mean, you're just selling shoes on Instagram. You don't care who is buying from you. I mean, you can ask the average shoe seller on Instagram or the average shoe seller on WhatsApp. Who is your target audience? That's even too far. How many customers do you have last month? They tell you. Some of them will struggle to say. How many customers do you have 3 months ago? Some of them will struggle to say now. What is the age group or age range of your customers? They will struggle to say. Now, if you know this data, it can help inform, let me not stock up on this kind of product. Let me stock up on this kind of product. Now, we use a lot of intuition. Entrepreneurs use a lot of intuition to do things. Like, they just feel like instinct. This is what my intuition is saying. This is what my instinct is saying. And eventually, they do things like that and crash. And that's why, for me, I believe that, like I've said, data is critical. Yeah. So if you've left school, research what the necessary functions are. Research what solution you want to even solve. What you want to bring. What problem you want to solve and what solution you want to bring.
That problem.
Research it because you can't just build a business out of everybody selling perfume. Let me start selling perfume on WhatsApp. You can't build a business like that. You have to build a business of, build a business from the point of what problem can I solve?
Anyway, last, Dilulu is the solution.
All of us would do right.
Delusion is the solution. Just be deluded. Anyway, Thank you so much, Ladi. We really enjoyed this episode. Like, I think
Oh God.
I think we actually have, like, Ladi was really calm. We actually eased into Ladi.
I mind him more.
Ladi
Backstage
knows how
like
to-
this, just to show himself. You see, Alex, you see this like this. Alex, see that. Just calm down. Camera ready. You're local. You are English. But you're right.
So please don't. I think I just have one more question, and we'll just go. So, Ladi, this is something that we would want to like imbibe. 2 truths and 1 lie about you. I think people already know you basically. So, but now just give us 2 truths about you and 1 lie,
2 truths
and
about
let them
me.
guess in the comment section. So.
Okay, 2 truths about me.
No, you don't have to say. See now.
Okay,
See now.
2 truths and 1 lie.
Don't say the truth and you not say the lie. Just say it.
Okay. So 3 things. 3 things. 1, I'm an orphan.
All of us, they welcome.
2, I like fair women. 3,
I know that one I lie. I just know that thing I lie.
I live in Lagos mainland.
Okay, so you guys should just guess it because I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it here.
Just I have just one more quick question. I know by the time we end this episode, so Nigerians can still drag him later. That's the essence of what I want to do like this. So Nigerians will still drag him. The African Cups of Nations, we're going to be facing Ivory Coast. Who do you think is going to win?
Well, if it's about that one,
Don't be diplomatic, yeah.
I'm not diplomatic about
Just
it.
tell me.
On the 30th.
No.
On the 30th of January.
So no. I think the question should be, who do you think should win?
You think Kosemi should? Who will win? Who you want to win?
Hold on the 30th of January 2024,
Don't they go
I
far?
made a prediction after South Africa beat Morocco. I think 3-1 or thereabout. I said that South Africa beating Morocco. I made a tweet. I said South Africa beating Morocco is evidence you need that Nigeria will win this tournament.
Case closed.
And Nigeria will meet Ivory Coast in the final and beat Ivory Coast in the final on the 30th of January.
He does not. He does not want to.
So what you try to talk, you say we will win.
Nigeria will beat Ivory Coast.
I don't
That's
know.
sure. That's sure.
Podcast don't finish when they go house.
That's sure. That's sure.
I really want to say Ivory Coast go win. I will like this.
Absolutely not. I mean,
I
like,
will learn.
I already predicted that Nigeria would win this tournament. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Trust me, it's a no-brainer.
I don't go watch the match, too. I mean, we win. The one that.
All right, thank you so
Africa,
much.
this
Thank
one,
you so much,
no.
Ladi. Thank you so much for
Thanks for
coming.
having me.
We hope to see you more.
Absolutely.
Please, honest, I can come with your babe, come with your wife.
Yeah, he will come with his wife next time.
Right.
The wife is a very, very nice fashion designer.
That
Sometimes I
kind
also
of-
see her clothes size. I'm like, God, can I afford that like this?
Eh? Can you afford that?
But Ladi will pay for me. So
He's a big boy now.
Let me not
As
pay
a-
for you, please. Don't let the company burn.
It's alright. Mr.
Alright.
Adi, thank
Thank
you
you
for
It's
your
so
such a
time.
much.
pleasure to be here.
Thank
We'll
you.
invite you again, not?
Thank you so much for.
Such a pleasure.
And to the young people, I hope you like learned some things here from Ladi because he was very insightful.
Yeah.
Please follow him on Twitter. His name is Ladi Speaks.
Yeah, Ladi Speaks. My handle is Ladi Speaks. Across all socials.
Leave hustle.
Across all
and
socials.
Focus on business.
Yeah.
Yes, leave hustle and focus on business. That's a very good
Elevate your
tagline.
hustle from being a hustle to a business.
Elevate. I using ChatGPT.
Leave hustle. Focus on business.
You will not ChatGPT merchants. Elevate.
Oh, is that a
Come.
word that ChatGPT uses?
They use it a lot. Anyway, don't forget to follow us, subscribe to Lifestyle Mapping.
Yeah, lady.
We are gonna be bringing guests. Guests for you. Guests.
One that will turn your head.
But don't forget, don't hustle.
Turn your head. You see,
Don't hustle.
You see something.
Do business. Don't hustle. Hustle is for now. Business is for
Okay.
future.
future.
Sometimes Nigeria is called hustle. Better come on, finish it, relax. Enter street and hustle. Don't mind this guy.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Ladi. And
Yes.
Such
Thank
a pleasure
you.
to be here.
Yeah,
once
thank you,
again.
Ladi. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
We'll see them in the next one.